Hi guys, thanks for joining me again. Just before we start the video, I'm after some new boots, so if any of you guys have got any recommendations about what kind of boots to get, if you've got some and you recommend them, just let me know down in the comments down below, because my feet are absolutely soaking today and these boots are totally wrecked, so I think it's time for an upgrade, and it'd be really good to hear your thoughts and comments on the boots that you wear, any good recommendations. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, and here's the video. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and thanks for joining me again. Today I'm in my local woodland just doing a bit of scouting. There's some fog due in the next couple of days, so I'm going to just come out today and try and get a few sort of scouting shots, come up with some compositions in advance so that when it's foggy I can get straight down here and take some of these shots with the fog mixed in with the trees, which I think will be really good. So today is quite a nice bright day. There's some quite nice sun coming through the trees. It's quite a dense woodland here, so the canopy is providing some sort of like shade to the bright sun, and it's providing some nice shafts of light coming through the trees, and it's illuminating obviously the bark on the trees, which is looking really good. So I'm not too worried about that. And I'm just gonna have a look around now. There's some nice interesting structures here to take shots of, mixed within the woodland, so I'm going to see what I can come up with in terms of compositions there. So let's go. Okay, so as you can see, we arrived at one of the structures, and it's this old sort of turret, maybe like a chapel or something it used to be, or church. It's got a date on there, 1796, so it's obviously been here quite a few years, and I think it looks really interesting, this, with the path leading through, and you've got this tree here in the foreground. I really like the texture on that bark, and I think this would be a really good shot with some mist and fog. I think it goes with the theme of the sort of medieval church, sort of, you know, spooky feel to it. And I think with the path leading off into the distance, I think it could be a really good shot this. So I'm going to have a look around this location, see if I can come up with a nice composition that includes everything, and obviously try and think about when there'll be fog, you know, how that will affect the scene, and the type of sort of composition of all the elements, putting them together within the fog, how that would work best. And then obviously in the next couple of days when the fog turns up, like I said, we can come straight here and crack on with it. So yeah, I'm gonna have a look around now and see what we can come up with. Okay, so I've had a good look round. I've set my tripod up. I think I found the best composition for this. It's basically the one that I started off at when I arrived here. It's looking down the path towards the route that we're going to take later. It includes all the elements, which is really good. And I like the way the path sort of goes off to the right in the distance. It kind of disappears, so it's kind of a nice element to have in your photo to sort of lead you through and lead the viewer's eye through and sort of provide that little bit of sort of like unknown, so that there's a little bit more to think about when you're sort of taking a shot. And like I said, these two elements in the foreground here, the turret and the tree, are going to make a really nice subject in the foreground, and hopefully when we get some nice fog, it's going to really sort of blend the image together nicely. At the moment we're getting some nice sunlight coming through, and it's in the winter, so obviously the sun's quite low in the sky, so even though it's around sort of 11 o'clock now in the morning, it's still quite low. And you know, it's not too harsh. I think it's really nice when it's sort of providing some side light, lighting up the side of the trees and illuminating sort of like the turret there. It looks really good, and I think if you had some sunlight with some fog and mist, I think that would look really good. And the light would be so diffused and it create like a really nice effect. I think that would look really good. So fingers crossed we get some fog in a couple of days. So I'm going to take this shot now anyway, just to sort of have a record of it, and I can have a good look when I get home on the computer and see what I think and see if I can tweak it or anything. And obviously, like I said, I'll be really prepared then for when the morning comes with the fog. I can get straight up here and straight on with it. got my Nikon D3100 and the 18-55 lens. I'm shooting at 18mm. I'm really wide at this, as wide as I can go, and I just want to make sure I include all the elements within the image. As you can see now, it's really bright, so I'm just keeping an eye on the highlights. There are some really bright hot spots within this scene, and I want to make sure I get all the detail, particularly on the trees, because obviously it's where the bark is and things, so I want to make sure I sort of preserve all that detail and I don't clip any highlights. I'm shooting at f11, and I'm going to try 1/40th of a second, and we'll just check the histogram and make sure that it's not blown. Okay, because it's so bright and I think the dynamic range is going to be too much for one image, I'm just going to do a little bit of manual bracketing, and I'm going to just underexpose and overexpose a couple of images just to make sure I get all the shadow detail, and you know, just make sure I've got all the information so I can put it together in the computer afterwards if I need to do. Yeah, that's better, that looks really good. Okay, so just as I was packing away there to move on to our next location, I thought I'd try something a little bit different, and I moved across to the right a little bit just to remove a little bit more of this path. I thought in the first image there was too much path there and it was too much open ground and not much going on in there, so it was a bit sort of distracting and taking up too much of the image. So I've come across to the right a little bit and closed the gap between the trees and the turret, which has obviously shrunk the path a little bit within the image itself. And I come across with these trees here. There's like another element within the image. Basically I think that works really well with the tree being in the foreground as the sort of main sort of foreground element, the trees in the background together as a second element, and then the turret on the right hand side here as a third element, and then the path obviously leading through the image. And I think all those work a little bit better and it's a bit more balanced, and I think it makes the image a little bit more interesting. There's not as much dead ground in there. So let me know what you think to this composition compared to the one on the left, or my left as I was stood there, and let me know which one you prefer. Okay, so we're going to move on to another location now and see if we can come up with any more shots. There's some nice woodland down here through the path there, so we're going to have a look down and see what we can come up with. Guys, hopefully you can hear me now. We had a look around for some more woodland compositions and I couldn't really see anything that I liked in that sort of area. It was all pine trees, looked a bit samey, so we carried on about half an hour down the sort of trail into the woods, and we've come to one of my favourite waterfalls. I've come down here just to see what it's like at this time of year. I do come here quite a lot, so just sort of pop down and see if we can get anything. This would look really good with mist, so it is an option on that morning when it's going to be misty. So I'm just going to have a look around now and see if we can take some compositions, maybe do a bit of abstract. There's quite a lot of water coming down the waterfall at the moment, so it's looking pretty good. So I'm just going to see if I can get something different and interesting, and maybe include some more of these trees, and you know, sort of try and make it into a woodland image still, but with the added waterfall as well. So let's have a look around. Okay, so I've got the camera and tripod set up as close as I can get to the waterfall, and I'm trying a few different shutter speeds here. I'm at f11, shooting at about 18mm as wide as I can again, and I'm trying sort of anywhere between sort of like 1/4 of a second and 1.5 seconds to sort of try and blend the water, and then obviously retain the detail in the other shots. So I'm going to try that now. And I'll put it on screen for you once I've taken the shot. I may put like a few different images on with the different water speeds and shutter speeds, and let me know which one you think is the best in the comments down below. Try and zoom in now and get something a little bit closer, a bit more abstract, because the water's creating some really nice cascades down the rock, and I really like the little sort of mini waterfalls within the scene. So I'm going to zoom in now and see what that looks like. Okay, I've zoomed into about 55mm, and it looks really good on the back of the camera. So again, shooting at f11, ISO 100. I'm going to take the shot now, and again use different shutter speeds to try and get different effects, and then pick the one that I like in Photoshop afterwards. Alright guys, I'm going to end the vlog there, and I've really enjoyed this sort of scouting trip today. But I thought I'd bring you along and just show you what kind of compositions I've got in mind for my next shoot, which hopefully is going to be in mist and fog. So these compositions are going to work really well, and the fog will just help to improve them and also sort of soften it and give you that sort of ethereal effect that I like and that I'm after. And yeah, so if you've got any comments about the video or any of the images that I've taken, please leave them down below. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. So until next time, bye for now.